All right, all right, all right. All right, all right, all right. Going live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, all right, all right. All right, all right, all right. Frank Monday on FM radio. Coming at you straight out the ghetto, baby. All right, all right, all right. You guys ready to kick this thing off? Let's go live in 5, 4, 3, 2. All right, all right, all right. All right, all right, all right. Hope y'all good looking sexy people are doing well out in happy land. Never forget, man. It's always nice to see you, said the man behind the microphone to the people that were listening. Yeah. All right, all right, all right. Frank Monday coming at you straight out the ghetto, baby. Let's get this thing started. Let's go live in 5, 4, 3, 2. Take a deep breath and relax. Everything is all right. The stars align, and here we are once again, broadcasting to you live from the central kingdom of the celestial dragon. In Twilight Zone, OP King, it is Freighter Francis Lunas Aristeus of the OTA, and none other than the Grand Wizard of the Esoteric Order of Dagon de Orientus, the Oriental Dragon, Fish Dragon, coming at you guys. Hope you're doing well out there in Happy Land. Welcome, Wizard, Warrior, Wanderer, Wayfarer, and Wildcat alike, whoever you are, wherever you are, and whenever you may be receiving this transmission. I hope you're having a good evening, afternoon, or morning. Welcome to the show. We got a lot of things to get into today, like some updates. The school year is about to start. I head off tomorrow for some corporate training in a new system we're instituting at our academy. Should be good fun. I always love training sessions. It's an opportunity to meet new people, develop new skills, and just collaborate on a grander level, right? Don't forget, everyone, if it's your first time, don't let it be your last time. And please, if you feel compelled, step over to www.imnotacriminal.com/Frank Monday, pull a something in the buy me a coffee tip jar. I would certainly appreciate that. That puts the lead in my pencil, the pep in my step, the zest in my demeanor, and all of those good things. I've received a lot of support in the past from good folks here on the platforms, whether it be BoobTube, Mugbook, or any of the other famous locations. I certainly do appreciate y'all good-looking sexy people. It is the 10th of August, 2024, Year of the Dragon here in China. And the watery dragon is out there. It's a wood dragon year, I believe, but the watery dragon is out there today. Wood and water work closely together. Wood is water springing up out of the earth, transforming itself, the great transformation. And it's coming down in puddles, man. It's raining, or it was. Now it's breaking a little bit, maybe because I mentioned it, right? Speak of the devil, and he doth appear. Liber de Resh Helios. It's a good one. It's a bit of a special occasion today. I'll not tell you exactly why unless you're an inner member. So if you want to be an inner member of the order, join the inner circle. Down below, LLED. You can join up there. That would be fun. I'd love to see you there. There you can have direct access to me and many more behind the scenes type interactions. And sometimes we get into some pretty crazy shit, man. Your wish is my command. Heaven and earth are the spontaneous manifestations of the subtle, wondrous universal law. The radiance of nature's harmony is revealed in the blossoming of flowers and the ripening of fruit. Hell, even the appearance of rainbows. A decade ago, I don't know about now, though. The power of the wondrous universal law sustains all things in their growth and transformation, bringing them to completion. The mysterious beauty of the Tao is revealed in the dance of the sun, moon, and stars, eternal and unwavering in their course, their concourse, right? The eternal essence of the Tao is present in every breath we take. So go ahead and take a deep cleansing breath. May the peace of Tao pervade our hearts, minds, and spirits, and bring harmony to all beings in all directions and dimensions, and to the world and cosmos at large. May the blessings of the Tao be with us always. Amen to that, brother or sister, whoever you may be, right? If you're a mom or a dad, a son or a daughter, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a lover, right? That natural law applies to all of us. I was watching a nice little presentation by Mr. Rogers the other day. Boys are always boys, and they're just born that way. Girls are born girls, and it's an undisputed fact. Only girls can become mothers. Only boys can become fathers. And that's the way. I don't remember exactly how it went, but it was pretty straightforward and to the point, Sesame Street type of thing. Sesame Street 20 years ago again. Everything has changed in the Aeon of Horus. They're trying to usurp natural order. Let's not let them do it, right? Keep teaching the right way to go about things. That's okay, though. That's okay. Whatever, whenever, whoever, whatever you like. It's up to you. I'm not here to bash anyone over the head with it, but I am here to remind you, check out the wonderful little red book by RHJ titled It Works. It's really a powerful little magical text into the Aladdin's lamp magical wish list that I promote here on my channel. I think it's a lot of good fun, man. I think it's worth you having a look at. If you want to ever join the Pathways of the Magi 100-day challenge, this is a part of the curriculum. To read and review and critique, write a report on. It Works by RHJ. With that said, I'm going to be relaunching the 100-day challenge, Pathways of the Magi, coming up at the time of the autumn equinox. So if you've ever participated in a 100-day challenge before, and you'd like to participate in this one, or if you never have, right? If it's your first time, don't let it be your last time. If you'd like to participate in a 100-day challenge, we're going to be kicking one off either just prior to or just after the autumn equinox. I like to choose a interesting day around that time. It doesn't always exactly have to be precisely on the equinox, but it should be at or around. That way it'll take us through the winter solstice, and then we can finish up and relax until the beginning of spring. So if you're looking for some ideas for your winter study endeavors, that's the way to go about it. Israel Regardi in the Garden of Pomegranates once quipped that you should invoke often and inflame yourself with prayer. So if you know the aphorism or axiom of the great one, the vast and the mighty one, then say it with me all together now. Yube, E-R. Holy art thou, Lord of the universe, the vast and the mighty one, creator of heaven and earth, maker of all things visible and invisible, master of both the light and the darkness, he who was, is, and always shall be. We adore thee and we invoke thee. Send us your divine spiritual agents, our holy guardian angels, to protect and guide us through the innumerable snares of the earthly sphere, and a cleansing wind to disperse all negativity and endless human opinion. Teach us those secret things which we must know for the completion of the great work and the glory of thine ineffable name. Adonai, Belial. So it is commanded and confirmed. So mote it be. Amen. Yeah, there it is there. That's a good one. That'll put a little lead in your pencil, right? So, welcome to the show, everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful time out there in Happy Land. And let's go ahead and get into it. Wow, we've got a special guest. I don't know if it is the OG Insanity Machine himself, but it seems like it might be. I don't know. If you are out there in Happy Land, if you're in the Ideas Room, you'd like to tune in, we may in fact have special guest, the Sanity Machine with King Stephen online. I'm not sure. I don't know if that's accurate or not. As always, it's tough broadcasting from here inside China, from behind the bamboo curtain. I got to buy like 3 different VPNs, and I got to try out each one every time I try to log in and try to, use websites that are based outside of China. So that becomes a bit of a hassle, but it is what it is. Not sure. And so, yeah, fair enough. When you're a guest in someone else's country, then you just you do what you abide by their customs. I think we have a wonderful little expression in English. We say, when in Rome, do as the Romans, right? So yeah, this is live. And if you are out there in Happy Land and are tuning in and would like to participate in the show, let me know. I haven't set a topic for conversation yet, but I've was just thinking about different things going on with the upcoming 100-day challenge. And I thought I might like to review a little bit of the last challenge, the 100-day challenge, Way of the Scholar Warrior. For the upcoming challenge, it's going to be Pathways of the Magi. So there are 2 distinct ones. I've also got Hypnoapotheosis and a couple of others that I like to rotate through. Me and one of my good colleagues, Frater Thomas Sund, who has passed beyond the veil, right, into the abodes of the unknown. We're working on putting together lots of material for each idea that we had, and we were coming up with new ones. We're going to try to get about a dozen or at or around a dozen different challenges that we could rotate through over the next 15 to 20 years. But he checked out early, so he's left me here holding the weenie on this one, right? That's okay. Nothing wrong with that. That happens from time to time. But I'm going to do some of the review of some of the content I covered over the course of Way of the Scholar Warrior. But since we're looking forward rather than backward, right? Then I'll be looking forward to getting into the material for Pathways of the Magi. If you haven't been through Pathways of the Magi before, it's your basic hermetic. So think Agrippa's 4 books of occult philosophy, and others. I won't mention everything here. There is a bibliography for each, but one of the ones I will mention is the little pamphlet I mentioned a moment ago. It Works. So if you are interested in learning Pathways of the Magi, you might want to get into It Works and see what that. I think it's only like a 30-page pamphlet, something like that. But yeah, in studying the mage's path up the tree of life, the middle pillar, you live to thyself and the muses, and avoid too much friendship in the multitude. Among the multitude, you should do service, but you want to be covetous of your time and try to be beneficial to all men. And you want to refine your skills and use thy gifts to be diligent in your calling, and let the real magic from the sphere of Doth never depart from you. So it's almost, because of the prohibition to dare to know and to be silent, it's really tough to talk about it openly among the masses. Anyway, so that's the 100-day challenge, Way of the Scholar Warrior. It looks like we might have a visitor out in Happy Land. Let me see. I was checking a moment ago. Yeah, Dominique's here. Good to see you, man. Namaskar. Is that like namaste? I'm not sure. I don't speak all languages, but it looks like, it might be a couple of folks out there. I'm not exactly sure. Folks tune in and out, and the numbers on my little eye here on StreamYard, they go up and down so arbitrarily. You never know if is there anybody in there? You never really know. So anyway, can't worry about it too much. I am working on brewing myself up a cup of tea, so I'll turn up the tunes a little bit, guys, and I'm gonna go prep my tea. Give me a 2-minute break, and I'll be right back. All right. Yeah, we're back. So, like I was saying, a lot of good folks have passed beyond the veil, and Frater Tomas, one of my beloved friends, left us just recently, and I was contemplating the night on which he left, and I thought, the weird studies that Frater Tomas was into were well known to me, and to some extent shared by me. Of his vast collection of strange, rare books on forbidden subjects, I read all of those that were written in languages which I am a master of. But these are few compared with those in the languages I could not understand. Most, I believe, were in Arabic, and the fiend-inspired book which brought on the end, the book which he carried in his pocket out of this world, was written in characters whose like I've never seen elsewhere. He would never tell me just what was in that book. As to the nature of our studies, must I say that I no longer attain full comprehension? It seems to me rather merciful that I do not, for they were some pretty terrible studies, which I pursued more through reluctant fascination than through actual inclination. He always dominated the course of study when he was involved, and sometimes I even feared him. I remember how I shuddered at his facial expression on the night before that awful event when he talked so incessantly about his theory why certain corpses never decay but rest firm and fat in their tombs for 1,000 years. But I don't fear him now, for I suspect that he knows horrors beyond my ken. Now I fear for him. But at the same time, I mean, once you've passed beyond the veil into the realm of the unknown to the layman, then who knows what kind of mischief you're getting up to, right? I'll only be able to figure out, like in our tradition, in the Taoist tradition, we're only allowed to reach out to recently deceased spirits after the prohibition of 1 year. So if he is indeed passed from the prime material plane into the realms beyond, I'll have to wait a year before I start trying to make conversation with him, which I think I spoke on just recently. We're about halfway there, so I got about 6 months before. Hey, Mary at sea level, good to see you again out there in Happy Land. Welcome to the show. I was just discussing the recent 6 months ago, the recent passing of Frater Tomasund, and how he passed beyond the threshold into the unknown realms. But yeah, so I'm feeling a little nostalgic because of all the good people that left recently. It just seems like, so many people were 86th out of circulation, and kind of a bummer. So she says that she will be back in 5 minutes. Yeah. Provided the stars align, that would be wonderful. Good to see you again. It looks like a couple of other folks in the ideas room, possibly the Sanity Machine and Dominique as well. So good magic, guys. I hope everyone's doing all right out in Happy Land today. All right. Item battery low. Replace the battery on the left. Interesting. I don't know what battery they're talking about because my computer's plugged in. Maybe it's talking about my phone. I think both my laptop and my phone are having problems with their batteries. Like maybe it's time to get new batteries put in them, or maybe replace the item entirely. I will do a sound check here at this hour at the 23rd minute to make sure that we're broadcasting clearly over the internet. I remind you, the time is now to check me out on www.buymeacoffee.com/Frank Monday. You can get more behind the scenes news and articles. I got pictures up there. I got lots of stuff that are free to the public. If you just do decide to become a member, it's just a one-time donation in the coffee jar, right? 5 kwai gets you $5, 5 kwai gets you there. And then you're, as far as I know, a lifetime member, because it still says that I have 13 supporters that I can send emails to. So that's kind of cool. I don't know how exactly like the stability of that website, but it seems to work okay for now. So that's fun. Other than that, not a lot going on. Looking forward to the next 100-day challenge. That will probably be a banger. It's going to be Pathways of the Magi, as I said here a moment ago. Let me see here. I'll pull that back up. Yeah, so Pathways of the Magi. And I was talking a little bit about it to inform people who have never participated in a 100-day challenge before. The big idea is just that. I mean, it's exactly what it says. It's 100 days to consistently put effort towards learning about some new topic of interest that includes a skill set and a knowledge base and anything and everything that's associated with it. Obviously, you have to be selective because 100 days is not long, But the big idea is just to focus on that specific challenge. 15 to 20 minutes a day shouldn't take you more than that. If you really want to get into it and level up, then you could like spend 30 minutes or an hour, which is more than most people are willing to take out of their day for a new endeavor. But if you are of a mind that you enjoy challenges, then that's one way to go about it. I support everyone who participates in it as best I can. Being the Grand Wizard of the Esoteric Order of Dagon, your humble host. Yeah, I think it's one fun way for me to interact with BoobTube and Mugbook. Sometimes I post stuff on Mugbook, not a lot though. Honestly, I feel like Zuckerberg, the synth human being, I don't even know he's a human, he's like a cyborg, right? I feel that like his creation is somehow so dark and odious that I really don't want to have anything to do with it. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced something like that, because it's not like about the message itself somehow, but it's about the method with which it's delivered, right? Like there are certain things that you have interest in and you think, oh, that's kind of a great idea, but then the representatives of that idea present it in such an odious fashion that you really don't want anything to do with it. Like that was kind of my experience with Christianity when I was young. Like I thought Christianity, I grew up in a Lutheran home, and I thought Christianity was a great idea, but the way that most of the community involved presented it and the representatives of that community were not like any good at all, really, that it became such a drag. It was like, why would you want to go out and kick your dick in the mud over learning something? It's just not any kind of fun. So you sometimes you can't kill the messenger, right? So the messenger is not the message, and as a result, but messengers can taint the well. Like it might be a really great idea and you think, oh, that's really going to be a lot of fun, I want to learn about this, but then you get involved with people who are involved with it and it turns into an absolute fiasco, right? A grim fandango. And that's not what I'm interested in personally. I like to join with like-minded individuals in spiritual cultivation and exploration, experimentation, and then tallying the results and learning from each other and benefiting. So for me personally, the Christian community didn't offer that, but maybe I got in with. And again, I didn't try just once or twice. I kind of grew up in it, and the whole thing kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. But I had a lot more fun always with like kung fu practitioners and people interested in mysticism and professors of philosophy and this type of thing. Even musicians. I had a lot of good times with musicians. I learned a little music, though I'm not much of a proficient musician myself. I do enjoy music, and I think music is a beautiful thing, and you can really express yourself through it. Okay, so I am checking the ideas room, and Mary, if you're back, or if anyone else is interested in a little bit of pithy banter on whatever ideas you might bring to the table, I'm interested in that. I will continue a little bit about the story of those who passed beyond, right? And I would say, once more, I say that I have no clear idea of our object on that night. Certainly, it had much to do with something in the book in which the Frater carried with him, that ancient book in indecipherable characters, which had come to him from India a month before. But I swear I do not know what it was. Your witnesses say they saw us at 11:30 on the Gainesville Pike, headed for Big Cypress Swamp. Well, this probably is true, but I have no distinct memory of it. The picture seared into my soul is of one scene only. The hour must have been long after midnight, for a waning crescent moon was high in the vaporous heavens. Sorry, guys, my washing machine was beeping. The place was an ancient cemetery, so ancient that I trembled at the manifold signs of immemorial years. It was in a deep, damp hollow overgrown with rank grass, moss, and curious creeping weeds, and filled with a vague stench, a malignant odor which my idle fancy associated absurdly with rotting stone. On every hand were the signs of neglect and decrepitude, and I seemed haunted by the notion that my beloved freighter and I were the first living creatures to invade a lethal silence of centuries. Over the valley's rim, a wan, waning crescent moon peered through the noisome vapors that seemed to emanate from unheard of catacombs, and by its feeble, wavering beams I could distinguish a repellent array of antique slabs, urns, cenotaphs, and mausoleum facades, all crumbling, moss-grown, and moisture-stained, and partly concealed by the gross luxuriance of the unhealthy vegetation. My first vivid impression of my own presence in this terrible necropolis concerns the act of pausing when my beloved brother, before a certain half-obliterated sepulchre, and of throwing down some burdens which he seemed to have been carrying with him that I just only now noticed. I now observed that I had with me an electric lantern and 2 spades, whilst my companion was supplied with a similar lantern and a portable telephone outfit. No word was uttered, for the spot and the task seemed known to us, and without delay we seized our spades and commenced to clear away the grass, weeds, and drifted earth from the flat, archaic mortuary. After uncovering the entire surface, which consisted of 3 immense granite slabs, we stepped back some distance to survey the carnal scene. And Tomas appeared to make some mental calculations. Then he returned to the sepulchre, and using his spade as a lever, sought to pry up the slab lying nearest to a stony ruin, which may have been a monument in its day, loosened the stone which he raised, and tipped it to one side. The removal of the slab revealed a black aperture, from which rushed an effluence of miasmal gases so nauseous that we started back in horror. God, it just seems really dire when you seek out to delve into the realms of the unknown, beyond the ordinary, prosaic meanderings of everyday man. But you got to do what you got to do to find answers. You can't dilly-dally and just sit by the sidelines as others get it done, right? You got to do your own work. You got to get the great work done yourself. And if you're not familiar with the great work, let me tell you a little bit about it. It's breaking free of the chains that bind us. The great work is, before all things, creation of man by himself. That is to say, the full and entire conquest of his faculties and his future. It is the complete and perfect emancipation of his will, right? The wizard's will and the magical intent. That's what the great work is all about. A lot of you guys don't get it. You malign the 33rd, and you're like, it's all dire horse shit. It's a conspiracy against everyday man. That's exactly the opposite of what it is. It's about having a tantalizing enough proposition that people are interested in seeking out the mysteries themselves, whether as individual practitioners or members of a secret society. Guys, I've got something going on with the washing machine, so I got to check it out real quick. I'm going to go ahead and take a 2-minute break and throw up some of that wonderful daydreaming music. All right. Minute break. Check me out on www.buymeacoffee.com/Frank Monday. All right. 2-minute break coming up. 2-minute dance break, everybody. Jump out of your seat and get squirrely. Go go bananas. Cruise around the house. Get yourself a beverage. Hit the bathroom. We'll be back in 2. All right. Welcome back, everyone. Yeah. I figured out that washing machine thing, so we're good to go on that. That's good. I was not wanting it to interrupt me, but it looks like it might. I might have to kind of deal with that a little bit. That's okay, though. I thought I would share with you a couple of ideas I have for the upcoming challenge. And, I think it's important that we're obedient to good admonitions, like when we're correct, we have a course correction and we get some good advice, we should heed it, right? We don't need to ignore the ancient universal wisdom that permeates through all cultures, right? It doesn't matter which culture you're coming from. Yeah, I know that some of you know that I have a distinctly Oriental flair, to my own particular style of magical studies and teachings, right? But that shouldn't necessarily turn you off. The Western mystery tradition itself says that it's the school of the Orient, right? So I am your representative in the Orient. I think you should avoid all procrastination. If you're going to get involved, do it now. The time is now. Accustom yourself to the gravity of things, right? In thy words and thy deeds, right? According to the good ancient teachings, we can only have three things within our sphere of direct control. If you imagine three concentric circles, the innermost circle is the area of direct control. The next concentric circle is known as the sphere of influence, right? So you have sphere of control, sphere of influence, and sphere of no control. So that's the way the expression of the Taiji works. And within your sphere of control are just thoughts, words, and actions. Those are the only three things you have power over. So in the tradition of lunar light entertainment and the mystery tradition that I put forward, then you have to learn, or you don't have to, but we have what's called the division of the theory of turds, right? The theory of turds, the division of threes and everything. So the body is divided into three dantians. The knowable realm is divided into three grand areas, right? And they representative by those dantians. You've got the celestial sphere above you, the material sphere, the terrestrial sphere, the human sphere. You are among it. And then below you, you have the internal or the infernal sphere, right? So the infernal sphere below, subterranean, subconscious, it relates directly with the lower dantian. The Christ consciousness, the middle dantian, the middle burner, relates to the terrestrial sphere, the prime material plane. And then your third eye, right, so to speak, dantian, the celestial palace, that relates to the great dome above. So you should resist the temptations of temper, especially in the summertime, and flee from earthly things. Seek after heavenly things. This teaching is of the heavenly way, the universal integral way. Put no confidence in your own wisdom, but look unto God in all things. According to that, we have scriptures such as, when we know not what we shall do, unto thee, O God, do we lift up our eyes, and from thee we expect help. So when you're confused, you really have to learn to commune with the celestial sphere. You can put it into prayer. I think that's excessive, but you can do internal alchemy. You can practice your divination methods. You can learn from your good books. Hell, I was talking to a practitioner just recently, Frater Francis, the Jersey Devil, and I told him about a method that I learned about a while back, where you just pick a random book on the shelf and then hold your question in mind and then open to a random part of the book. It's a synchronistic kind of divination type activity. Oh, Miss Mary Moon's back. Good to see you again, Mary. I hope you are doing well out there in Happy Land. I haven't seen you in quite a while. I certainly haven't talked to you in a bit. Says Miss Mary Moon, if you guys don't know, she's a very powerful professional astrologer, as one of the many hats she wears. And I've received really good advice and counseling from her in the past. And she says, hello to everyone. And chickadee, hello to Franken Moon. Thank you for that, Miss Mary Moon. I hope you are well. It's a very special day for me today, Mary. And it's very nice to have you in the ideas room for the transmission. I am celebrating the birth of a very powerful individual in ancient times. Not ancient, but quite a distance back from today's modern man. And I'm reviewing some. Yeah, you knew it. I wasn't going to say it outright, but yeah. So I'm celebrating, having myself a beer, And is that right? That's right. Yeah, I think I remember you telling me that. I do, absolutely. We share that in common. Interesting. So, mm, I don't know if you celebrate the same way I do because it depends on whether or not he has passed beyond the veil. I don't know the year for your pops, but my pops was quite a while ago. He came into this sphere of existence, and he passed quite a while too. But makes me think about everyone. Yeah, that's right. That's right. I remember all of that. It's very good. Um, I'm not exactly sure who's joining us here, but earlier, I don't know if you've seen any of my recent videos where I had some interactions with Team Evil, the Clown King, and the Insanity Machine. But I came across the material and I thought it was great. Like they have an esoteric series, and I was having kind of fun joining in on like the panel verse and Jack Talcott's channel, but some of it turned so like what's the word, like odious, obnoxious, vile. The mindset among its practitioners seemed to be so dark and unattractive that to some extent I just, once bitten twice shy. Oh, okay, sure, yeah, I understand that. um I don't get updates unless they come through the YouTube channel, and then I tend to click on them. But it doesn't seem like YouTube updates people that are even sub to you, like I'm sub to you. And unless you're like a big creator, it doesn't seem like they even put your updates in my feed, even though I have receive all updates clicked. Like I got the bell, I struck the bell to dark or whatever. But yeah, that's just YouTube. They're not going to promote anyone that they don't want to promote. And so, but yeah, I loved the pictures that you shared with us in the Discord recently. Those are really beautiful. Like that one, those females, those girls you have. Those are girls, right? Because almost they're so bushy. They kind of look like they might even be males, but I don't think you would be growing males arbitrarily, right? Like you cull the males, right, and just let the females prosper. But and I think that was a turkey. Is that a turkey? That's not a chicken. That looks like a North American turkey. So good fun. Yeah, I really appreciate that because I love that style of rural living. I think it's one of the most beneficial ways for people to live. And I wish I could spend half my time in the country and half my time in the city. Because don't get me wrong, I don't dislike the city. It's got a lot of fun things to do. Okay, good, good, good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, those are beautiful, beautiful little ladies, young ladies. And so I was trying to tell you about a situation that just recently I encountered because occasionally I like to commune with those spirits, and so I had sat down and I'm like, oh, I'd really like to have some of that spiritual energy with me right now. And I went outside and I know of a few spots in the city where it seems to grow wild. And I went down and I was looking and looking and looking, like hunting all morning. I went out like 6 a.m. and didn't find something until like 10 a.m. So I was out for like 4 hours on the hunt here in like the ghetto gardens of Beijing. And I found two or three. I think there was a third, but I found two for sure. Beautiful little shrubs, about a half a meter tall, like 2 feet, like a foot and a half tall, and they were both perfect. And one was a male, and it was about 10 feet away and a little like near a bush, but they were perfectly standing independent with everything else a little bit lower, like the grass and stuff around them. And there was one beautiful female standing proud and ready to start flowering, but they're very, very small, very, very small. Yeah, of course, that's the plant I meant. Anyway, it came right out of my mind. Like, again, it took some work, but the magic was there because I do know that they occasionally just pop up in fucking random here in the city, and sometimes like one like right around harvest time will pop up like about a meter tall, usually like 3 feet, 2.5, 3 feet tall, covered in flowers and it's ready to harvest. And I'll just grab the whole thing and stuff it in a bag and then I'll take the seeds of if it's been pollinated, then I'll take the seeds and spread them everywhere. But there'll always be little bitty like flowers. Like it's a certain, I don't know, maybe it's just one strain, but it seems like there are several strains. Yeah. That's the thing. I don't have any place to grow anything, and no, I can't do that. Like I've got plenty of what you mentioned here a moment ago. Let me see. Anyway, so yeah, the gardeners went in with the weed whackers and cut that area and killed them all. I've got this. I've got, bags and bags full of this. You can see it on screen right now if you're looking at your. I don't know if you're looking at your laptop or not or your phone, but um, I do this all the time. Like I literally, there were seasons when I went through and I collected thousands and thousands of flowers that had tons of seeds in them because it was like, when it's out in the wild, it always crossbreeds or cross pollinates is the terminology I'm looking for. But yeah, and then I take them back out in just handfuls and throw them everywhere. What would be the best time to spread them? Because I do it at different times. I would imagine like early spring, like right after the last frost, would be the best time to go out and throw them around. But then sometimes I think maybe you should go a little before that and kind of like kick them down into the earth a little bit, or even maybe bury them and stuff. But I don't know. I'm like Johnny Appleseed when it comes to that. There are certain areas that I just always go out and throw seeds to make sure that, but I don't know the good timing. I would think like after the winter solstice, and yeah, because the birds will eat them, like you mentioned a moment ago. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I like this idea. It's fine anytime. Yeah, good, good. Yeah, I'm Johnny Appleseed when it comes to that kind of thing, man. It's something I'm really interested in, and I want to keep it going for future generations. And occasionally, you might get I'm not going to say student, but a disciple, an adept, an initiate, a neophyte, someone who's interested in finding, a little bit of mystical, medicinal interaction, connecting with other spirits other than the mundane, and needs a little push through to make a breakthrough. And so that's helpful. That really is helpful. And it's one of the most beautiful things we have on this entire prime material plane for that type of thing. Okay. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. And I've done some higher level cultivation in the past. Like I had some setups for my window box and stuff like that. But in my situation, like it's iffy, and I don't want to risk it. So like just letting nature take care of it, and letting my magical mind guide me to female. It's funny because I don't want to say this, but females nearing maturity, right? And then figuring out where they are and waiting for that full moon in autumn when I can just go grab one and bring her home. And because drying it out and stuff and like that is no problem. Like I can set up like dry areas and okay, plenty of plants feel similar. Yeah, I do know that, and you can get it. Like you can get all kinds of stuff at the Chinese herb store. But I have a special relationship with Mary, that I is from from a young age, and it's something I never want to abandon. So, and you probably know me. I go huge periods of time without being able to even say hello to Mary, like Mary yourself, Miss Mary Moon. And so that's yeah, that kind of sucks sometimes, but it is what it is. And yeah, there's a couple of things. Like it's interesting too because Frater Tomasund was engaging in some alchemical practices about a year. He started telling me about maybe 2 years ago. So like about a year and a half before he went beyond the veil, he had come up with some magic formulas like on powerful herbs. And I told him, I said, you got to be seriously careful with that kind of thing, like flying arctic and magic mushroom and this type of thing. And he was making his own alchemical recipes. And I said, you need to be really careful with that. Like you should work with other folks and stuff like that. And don't try to do anything independently, and like maybe even get yourself some rats and do like scientific testing of dosage and stuff to make sure that you're not putting yourself at any risk. And so again, I'm not going to speculate though, because according to, and I don't want to, I don't think that his brother or anyone else that really knew him other than us would listen in. But yeah, that, there's a possibility that something went wrong, and he took an alchemical formula that took him beyond the veil. Okay, Jesus Christ, I got to remember to hit the button so I'm not always leaving comments up on the board. But again, that's just speculation on my own. We are nearing the bottom of the hour, so I'd like to do a little channel update, whatever that's called. This is the Frank Monday channel, FM radio. If you're listening to it on your headset, welcome one and all. If it's your first time, don't let it be your last time. Wizard, warrior, wanderer, wayfarer, and wildcat alike, wherever you are, whoever you are, and whenever you may be receiving this transmission. I'm your host for the hour, Frater Francis Lunas Aristeas, Frank Monday, coming to you straight out the ghetto, broadcasting from behind the bamboo curtain in the central kingdom of the celestial dragon, Twilight Zone, Old Peking. Make sure that if you get the opportunity, guys, go over and check me out at www.imnotacriminal.com/Frank Monday. That's always puts a little lead in the pencil. Good stuff. I noticed, Mary, it's funny that you're here and I have an opportunity to talk to you a little bit back and forth with you. Yeah, that's a possibility too. What you said there and what I flashed on the screen, but I think he did. In fact, I think it was the magic number 3's a charm, and it seems like he had just gotten like double dosed recently, like on cold and flu updates, and then like another one of those dire malignant things that took so many people from us. I mean, my own mother, good God, and my brother, who was only a year and a half older than me, and now, Tomas. And it's like, fuck, are those numbers, is that all just coincidence? I guess it must be, right? We don't want to be conspiracy minded. So what a fucking drag though. So many people you warned that like even like defriended you, and now they're all just gone. They're gone. I never wanted that. I never wished that on those people, even though they were really, really hard on me. Because I was like, rah, 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 Trump 2016, rah, 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 Trump 2020. And I know he did the whole warp speed thing, but it was never mandated in the US. Companies individually might have mandated it, but then you could just quit. You could say, hey, you know what? Go fuck yourself. And if people did that in mass, like Americans in mass told anybody that gave them lockdown orders to go fuck themselves. So at least the US, to some extent, still has a bit of a backbone, where so many other places just fucking rolled over. Oh, they're just doing their jobs, right? Yeah, into the gas chamber, Jew. I'm just doing my job. Fuck that mentality, right? You're never just doing your job. Like, you have to always be a critically thinking, feeling human individual that doesn't just do a job. And if that's your job and it violates like your essential, basic, fundamental principles, then quit the fucking job and do something else. Yeah, it is such a blur, and what fuckery. Fuck, it's not even funny. Like, I would think that like so many of us could pursue criminal charges against all the people that were involved, but then you just wind up in prison. You'd be labeled a dissident. Everything would be taken from you, and you'd spend the next 20, 30 years in a prison. So it just isn't worth it. I mean, these dark powers are so above and beyond our comprehension at this point that it's really, you have to work quietly behind the scenes. And what you did and what I did and what everybody else did that warned people was enough. There isn't anything else you can do, Like, they're not soliciting your advice. They're making up their own minds. And so all you can do is just let them go if that's the way they want to go. And that day, it kind of gave everybody an opportunity to check out early if they wanted to. Yeah, kind of a bummer. Kind of a bummer. And I don't think that's true. Like, I think if people were deceived and kind of bought into it, I don't think they would go any place other than like what their character merited. If they were good folks, then they're still just having probably maybe even a better experience since they broke through the veil. And maybe I like to think that they, like, folks like my mom were welcomed by my dad. I don't know if I told you, but 2 weeks before my mother died, my dad visited me in dreamland, and I think I recounted it to you. Did I recount that to you, that story of dreaming? I certainly recorded it, and I wrote a few essays about it. It's not anything I'm going to publish or talk about openly, really, because they're personal spiritual experiences. But yeah, 2 weeks before my mom passed, my dad showed up and told me she was dying. He said he was going to pick her up, and he had a giant wooden ship that sailed on the celestial skies. Yeah. And you were there. You saw it happen. All of my wonderful friends and people that I love and love me, after my dad scooped her away, and I'm like, why are you picking mom up? What's going on? And I was, and he told me, he said, because she died. And I was like, what? And I woke up the next morning. I'm like, she's not dead, why I was going to tell my mom about that dream, but I didn't. I deferred from telling her intentionally. And I was like, oh my God, here it is. This is the end, our bitter friend, the end. Yes, but when he dropped me back off, like he took his celestial boat back after he grabbed mom. Mom she didn't pay any attention to me. She's like, oh, hi, give me a kiss. And then she's like, I'm out of here. And when he dropped me off, he dropped me off at like touchdown on the ocean. And then there was a big pier, a wooden pier that I had to walk back along, and there were lanterns floating in the sky, and I saw everyone that I had ever loved or ever loved me or had good relationships with in this prime material plane. They were all waiting one by one on the pier, and I walked by them one by one, and each and every one of them gave me like their love and peace, and like condolences and stuff. And I looked into every single person's eyes and face, and they all, smiled and said, it's okay, pats on the back, that kind of shit, handshakes. There goes your fucking mom and dad, bro. And it was a really beautiful thing. Like, there was starlight in their eyes. Very, very powerful spiritual experience. Anyway, I've shared it once before. I don't need to get too much into it, but it's realer than real, one of those lucid dreams that you wake up thinking, what the fuck? And so, like, yeah. Like, I didn't want to tell my mom that, let the mystery unfold for her herself. But I saw it all 2 weeks before it happened. What goes on, after someone dies. And that's not wishful thinking. I didn't know that her time had come. I thought she'd be around a couple more years. I had made recent plans with her. I told her I was coming back in 2025 to do a seminar trip, like bringing friends over, going to rent a car, rent hotels, that kind of thing, and cruise. I wanted to get three or four or five folks other than myself in like a 7-seater SUV or minivan, and then cruise around Southern California and do the initiation with Poke Runyon for the Church of Hermetic Sciences. And so, yeah, I had plans, but it didn't work out. And you know the story. You probably kept up with it a little bit, but yeah, that's a powerful thing, man. It's definitely a powerful thing. Have any of you guys out there in Happy Land, I think there's only a couple of folks hanging around right now, had such an experience? And would you be willing to talk about it and share it here on the channel? That would be fun. That's always good fun. I like having good conversations here on YouTube. It's interesting to me. I'm going to take another 2-minute break, guys. I got to hit the head, and I'm going to play a little music for you here in the background, and I'll be right back. So if you are tuning in for the first time, don't let it be your last time, guys. I'm planning on going about another hour. That'll be good fun. All right, all right, all right. Are we back? Can you hear me? Give me ones in the comments, guys, if you are receiving this transmission. Whoever you are, wherever you are, and whenever you may be hearing this, welcome one and all, Wizard, Warrior, Wanderer, Wayfarer alike. This is old Frank Monday, your host for the hour, broadcasting to you from the central kingdom of the Celestial Dragon. I had to take a personal moment there a second ago. Was doing a little bit of grieving. It never stops, really. You know, the thing about being born the youngest in a really big family means that there's a lot of likelihood, really good chances that you're going to see everybody go before you, like everybody. If anybody else, yeah, and the thing is too, like all of their descendants, though, like you'll see all the OG motherfuckers pass from this realm into the next, but the folks that they leave behind will still be there, and you'll still see little representations of them, you know, like for everyone that progenerates. For those of you who don't, what the fuck are you doing here anyway? You know, just causing trouble. So definitely get busy, bring some people into the world, man, because we're running out. Elon Musk says that one of the greatest dangers, and not that he's, you know, I guess he might know a little something, but it doesn't seem like he knows that much. He doesn't seem like he's a very virtuous guy. Or I wouldn't say he's not virtuous. He definitely has virtue, but he's not that honorable. According to him, the greatest threat to humanity right now is depopulation and a population collapse on a grand level, a great extinction event by way of people, you know, LGBTQ plus and out, and just not having kids. He thinks that's the real risk. People aren't motivated to raise families. So if you are, then you should, right? And do it the sooner the better, man. Get involved. I know that sometimes it can be really hard for people like in the Western world because everything's kind of geared against you right now. Like so many factors that they're just piling up to prevent. I don't know. You got to be really careful too about how you word it. It's like an attack on the basic fundamental values that we were raised to believe. A moment ago, I quoted Mr. Rogers and his little song. And it's like everything we were taught through, I mean, influenced on a mass media level through as children is totally been turned upside down. I saw a couple of things just recently. I saw Mr. Rogers and I saw the Dukes of Hazzard and I saw this, that, and the other thing, like some stuff from the 1980s. And I thought, yeah, I was a tweener in the 80s, right? And then a teen in the late 80s. I graduated from high school in 1992. And so I experienced those fundamental stages watching, you know, quite a bit of television, I would imagine. So I remember things like the Dukes of Hazzard. It had the Confederate flag on the top of the General Lee. Johnny Cash did a song about it. Mr. Rogers told us that we were either boys or girls, and only boys could become dads, and only girls could become moms. And now all of these things are vilified, and they're not PC anymore. It's not all right to be white, right? If you're white, you're the devil. And that seems like that started really early, like when they started doing mass migration of illegal immigrants into LA. And they wanted to usurp the OG blacks that have been in the States, you know, just as long as the whites, like 200 years, and replace them with recent immigrants from war-savaged countries and countries that are savaged by all kinds of shit like cannibalism and, you know, whatever other dank, deepest, darkest Africa, the Congo, you can imagine. And so they set up low income housing for all of those folks, just like they're doing in Ireland and England right now. And you know what the next step is, guys? It's the promulgation of crack cocaine, or probably fentanyl at this stage rather than crack. But they have a blueprint. They have essentially a schemata for these intelligence agencies, the intelligentsia, where at least in the states they did every intersection was a crack dealer, a pimp, a pawn shop where you could sell stolen goods, and then a liquor store and a gun store, all right next to each other with a pornography outlet. And they did this in all of the poorer communities so that those people would buy guns and get drunk and steal things and kill each other. And that would feed into the prison planet system, right? They would have a really good base of young men being born into prison and sent into the prison systems. And they've been perpetuating this. Now they've just, the only thing they've done really is in most Western countries, they've taken guns out of the equation, but all of those other elements are still there. They're like, yeah, we just offer them knives instead. And that way nobody gets killed and we can recruit everyone into our system of slavery. And when you think about the fact that if your wages and the wages of those around you isn't even enough to provide for housing and food and clothing, then you're below the level of your average slave. The entire world is enslaved right now, even the U.S. Like, it's so hard right now in the U.S. or in any Western nation to get even the most basic, fundamental things for your survival as an individual, let alone getting married and raising a family. I mean, good God, now you're really asking for a lot. But yeah, it's a very dark thing that these dark manipulators have set up. And you guys know the score. All of you have seen it. You've seen it played out. You know the way it works. I'd like you to take a moment now, if you haven't already, to command yourself to relax. Take a deep breath. Oh, and hold it for 3, 2, 1, and relax. What was that famous song in the 80s? Relax, don't do it. When you want to go do it, relax. I don't even remember who that was. When you want to. Oh my God, how funny. I just realized what that song meant. What there was something Hollywood and the, what was that song called? Relax. Who did that? Some it seems like Hollywood was in the name. I can't remember exactly. I guess I just pulled myself back into the 80s. Um, I'm gonna check it on Bing because I don't have access to Google right now with this particular VPN. So Bing has got a wonderful little page up right now. Beautiful Joshua trees and cactus sunset in the desert. The number one thing trending right now, they say, is Jennifer Lopez and camel hair ass. What a lie. What an absolute lie. If that's what's trending, our world is in big trouble. Big, big trouble. Who's saying relax? Who's saying relax the song? Yeah, I guess it's called Relax, Don't Do It. Frankie Goes to Hollywood. How funny. How funny. If you guys knew that, you should have told me. I knew it had Hollywood in the title, but Frankie Goes to Hollywood. I wonder if I could check out the lyrics real quick. Most of this type of pop culture stuff, China does not allow. So if you're using like a China specific VPN, you might not be able to view any of it. Like even 1980 song lyrics, it says it was in 84. So I was like, what, 12 years old at the time? Yeah, how funny. How funny. I'll sing it for you, but there's a really funny part in it. Song facts. Don't do it. Relax. Don't do it. When it's time to come. Oh God, he's telling you right there how to fucking engage in sexual alchemy, right? How funny is that? Yeah, no, the song lyric pages are not opening up. Relax, don't do it when you want to come. It's the secret to building a worthwhile sex life. That's a fact. Quickies are great once in a blue moon, but this song tells you that prolonged sexual experience. Yeah, it's totally a sex song. How funny. How funny. Frankie, don't go to Hollywood. I know. What a funny thing to remember suddenly out of nowhere, right? When you were the twinkle in your father's eye. But it's only because your father came that you arrived. Huge shout out to all the dads out there, right? Relax and don't do it when you want to come. Take a little longer, because the thing is, most men can't satisfy their women anyway. You know, it's a challenge, especially as you get older. Premature ejaculation, all that stuff's a real thing. And the fact that like sexual arts aren't even discussed or really promoted or taught to anyone, you know, the sexual arts they're teaching today is how to cut your fucking dick off. Jesus Christ, what a nightmare to tell a little boy that wants to be a little bit effeminate or something. Oh, well, you should just maim yourself. You should cut your penis off and enjoy a life of never having sexual experience. Be a eunuch. Uh, yeah. No, pre-cum, unless there's spermatozoa in the ejaculation, then there's no pregnancy. There has to be little swimmers. It has to be in the spermatozoa. Pre-cum doesn't contain any of that. It depends. Like there are two liquids in the semen, grades of there are two seminal grades of fluid. One is a clear, translucent, completely translucent, and it has no spermatozoa. The spermatozoa is dark white, milky. They're two totally different things. Yeah. Well, that's not just the thing, too. Like, according to Chinese medicine, if you eat penises, it's a great aphrodisiac. So they might be taking these extra penises and chopping them up and turning them into powder, and then giving it to like top level officials like adrenochrome and sniffing it. They're fucking doing rails of 9-year-old child dick or something. It's pretty dark. It's far more dank, the level of cannibalism that these folks engage in than you would ever imagine. It's well known that, like, if you've ever played with a dead penis, whether it be a cow penis or a pig penis or something, then you know all of the aspects of its chemical and material compositions. And the Chinese grind this shit into medicine all the time. I grind up your bones in hell and feed it to the demons. They're turning they're throwing these things full hog into bottles of high caliber wine and drinking shots of it before they have make love to their mistresses. Seems like this FM radio transmission is turning into a bit of sexual alchemy. Miss Mary Moon has some comments. She says, "Give us your wiener so you can use it for science." Maybe one sitting there already. Yeah, that's possible too. Yeah, you never know. Funny stuff. You have got a definite sense of humor. We are well on the way to have it. Yeah, I know, right? No, well, I mean, adult content shouldn't be that. Maybe I've hit some keywords, probably some trigger words, but this is all just basic material science, especially according to Chinese medicine. Like, why do you think they grind up rhino horn? Because it's fucking horny. They grind up all horns, and it actually works. Like, I know you're not as big on animal products because you like to use herbs, but in the Chinese medicinal pharmacopoeia, food grade herbs from animal parts are mostly used for men, and then herb grade things are mostly used for women. So any type of meat or bone or blood or marrow, horn, tail, cock, whatever, these kinds of things are mostly used as aphrodisiacs for men. And then the floral ones, flowers, rose petals, chrysanthemum, MJ, that's mostly used for women. That's why if men engage in too much in Mary Jane, then they become a little more effeminatized and less motivated to do things. But I'm not here to teach natural law. I'm just, yeah, and women will become a little more masculine, a little more aggressive if they do engage in more animal products, especially if it's not in the winter. Like everyone needs that good solid protein throughout the winter. That's how we survive winters. A lot of times, either root vegetables, right? Like you follow the patterns of nature. So in the winter, there aren't any leafy green vegetables or fruits available unless you've preserved them. They're all root vegetables, carrots and turnips and ginseng and this type of thing. And that's the root. I mean, it looks like a male penis. That's it's a male. It's the male. It's the masculine within the feminine, right? And the husbandry, cultivation, and slaughtering of animals occurs all throughout the winter. That's the healthiest time to eat greater portions of that heavy protein is in the winter. And then all throughout the spring, summer, and autumn, it should be mostly plant based, right? You've got young, fresh sprouts in the spring, and then all throughout summer, you should be engaging in roughage, heavy green veggies, and stuff like that. And then come autumn, it's fruit time, right? Fruit and melons and all of those types of things, gourds and stuff, and it's preparation for the winter. I know that you deeply understand natural science, Mary, because you're a practitioner of astrology and you get it. But that natural science came straight down to us from heaven, from the rotation of the sun and the moon throughout the zodiacal crown. Yeah, it's heaven telling you. Mary says maybe it's your body kind of telling you. It's the celestial order. It is. I think you guys have an expression. It's astrotheology. Is that correct? Yeah, astrotheology. I think that a lot of people have studied that and are interested in that. Yeah, as above, so below, as within, so without, external and internal. Yeah, good stuff. Always good fun. Always. And it's always nice to see you, said the man behind the counter to the woman who was coming in. Tom's Diner. It's funny. The funniest thing, I'll tell you a story real quick. Susan Vega. Is that who's Susan Vega's second album? It's charted all over the world, including scoring #1 in quite a few countries. The classic was written by Susan Vega. She was inspired by a photographer friend of hers named Brian Rose, according to Vega. It's actually called Tom's Restaurant. And as her mentioned, it was a situation in New York where Susan Vega, a New Yorker for life, said she frequently visited the establishment. Very interesting. For some reason, I was thinking that was Dido, but Dido's saying that other one, right? Can't recall it exactly right off the top of my head. But that's okay. I don't have to. I've got the internet. Sometimes it's more fun to remember things, right? I am sit do 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 do. I was sitting in the morning at the diner on the corner. I am waiting at the counter for the man to pour the coffee, and he fills it only halfway. And before I even argue, he's looking out the window at somebody coming in. Yeah, that's it right there. The kids at my school really hate this song because all of last year they used it as the wake up song in the dormitories. So they heard this song literally every morning for like 200 days. And so they were kind of bummed out on that. It's what is that called? Not opportunity cost, but the other one, the law of diminishing returns. Yes, indeed. Oh no, it seems like it's playing in the background. I don't want that to happen. All right, good fun. Yes, thanks for stopping by, Mary. I figure I've got a little longer here before I got shit to do, but it's good to see you. It's always nice to see you, said the man behind the counter to the woman who was coming, shaking off her umbrella, right? That is who sings that. Yes, heard it on the radio. Uh, yeah, they should change up songs periodically. No, they're trying to do. Schools are all about indoctrination and brainwashing, so they're trying to do very specific things for the kids. And one of those things is, they want them to respond in a certain way to certain things. I don't know. I don't have it all figured out. I'm not a master of educational science, but I do know a little bit about it. Yeah. And your pops is still around, Mary? Is that right? Is he still with us here in the terrestrial realm, or has he passed into the celestial sphere and the timeless homeland? I can't remember exactly. Seems like you're quite a bit younger than me, though. At least a decade plus, maybe an entire generation. So okay, good. Yeah, same as my mom. That's right. So he's right around the age of my mom. Value and cherish him. Make sure you say hello. Reach out. If you have a spiritual premonition at the time of the rending of the veil, make sure you let us know about that. Okay, no, yeah, wow, you're right. Yeah, you know my actual birthday. Don't mention it here, but yeah, we're right there. Yeah, just a bit, not much, a little bit. I'll say here for YouTube that I'm 5 years older than you. The truth shall not be known. Okay, cool. Very good. I'm gonna step away for 1 minute. I'll be right back. All right. I'm back. Yeah, I had to take a little bathroom break, man. I've been swilling down some brouhaha, rah rah rah, Cisco Ba, Trump 2020. Right? That didn't work out, did it? Oh. Instead, we got minions of the Dark Lord. Kind of a shit show. Wouldn't you agree? I don't know. Put it down in the comments below. Do you agree or disagree? Do you think the last 4 years of global leadership has been abysmal? Trudeau, two-tier. I mean, for me, that's all there really is. I don't keep up with anyone. I don't know that I'm meant to. Go ahead and roll back this music a little bit. All right. Welcome back, Wayfarer. Wherever you are, whoever you are, and whenever you may be receiving this transmission, this is FM Radio's Frank Monday Live Jive Archive. Haven't said that in a while, right? Rolling down the highway. You remember those days, Mary? I was thinking about you, and I was thinking about the early days of FM radio, Frank Monday radio. I was thinking about like how it all started, because recently the guys over at the Insanity Machine, right, Clown King and his minions of Team Evil maligned me and said, oh yeah, he lied. He said that he had never live streamed before. I never said that. I don't know if you caught that one or not, but I said that I didn't know about the Panelverse. Mary, have you ever heard of the Panelverse? Since you've been with me since my very first live stream. My very first live stream was the Coast to Coast after party. It was called C2C after party, and that's how I met you. If I remember correctly, I do believe you were on that. Yeah. These guys get into arguments. In fact, the guy's channel, I'll mention it here just for fun. It's called the Insanity Machine, and he did like, I don't know, maybe 10 videos on me. It was kind of funny. I mentioned his channel on my channel because I thought like it was really interesting. Like he had a lot to offer. Oh, okay, you were there. Yeah, you were there from the beginning. Yeah. Anyway, so it's this. You can see the title up on the screen. It's Clown King Chavon and his Insanity Machine. Yeah. So the correct search title would be the first 3 words here on the screen. I'm not going to give any kind of fucking airtime to his nonsense, but yeah, like they do something. Have you ever heard of something called the Panelverse? Like they do panel chats. Yeah, so they do something called the Panelverse where they do like these panel chats, and I had never experienced it. I asked him to explain to me what the Panelverse meant, and then later on, like he did like an 8-hour presentation on talking a gang of shit about me. Made a bunch of shorts too. I think made 4 or 5 shorts showing, you know, how bad my teeth are, which, yeah, if you know anything about me, I drink 4 or 5 cups of coffee a day and smoke a pack of cigarettes. So my teeth are not in the best of shape at 52 years old. But I don't worry about it too much. I mean, we're all going to die, or we're all going to transform at some point. Anyway, yeah, so he showed some definite interest because I showed interest in him, but everything that he said about me was negative. And like he had one little minion, a guy named Carl Florin or something, that he spent a little time like on the fence, kind of defending me a little bit, but then also gave like some really dire psychological assessments of who I am as a person that were totally erroneous. And they both lied about me constantly. Like they lied about the key aspects, two basic takeaways. Number one, I had never been on a group chat on YouTube. I didn't know that it was even a thing. I thought that was a Twitch thing. But they took it back and said that I had said I'd never live stream, which is horseshit, because I've been doing the live drive jive archive for fucking a couple of years at least, maybe 3 years, 4 years, something like that. But yeah, it was total douchebaggery. Yeah, absolutely. That's You said it right there. So fun stuff. Anyway, entertaining nonetheless. And I had good fun. They all made it really dire though, and like every time I've interacted with them, um, yeah, so they're like psychic vampires. They're really kind of gnarly. Um, yeah, yeah. I remember Anthony. What was he? The real Anthony, the OG Anthony. Is that dude? Did you ever hear from him again? I don't know. Like so many people I lost contact with during that whole epoch of I mean you fuck you were there from day one. You saw what happened. You saw how neurotic everybody became, right? Like how dire every people saying get in the gas chamber, Jew. I'm just doing my fucking job. There was no hesitation in their behavior. Like they just attacked you and like kicked you out of the family and fuck, I didn't even get it. It was so mind-boggling to me. Like the smokescreen, the subterfuge, the propaganda, and how easily, like, I would say the greater percentage of people were beguiled. I would say it was more than 50%, like close to two-thirds, probably 60 to 70. 60 to 70% of the global population just turned into fucking automatons. And I guess, I mean, you'd like to say, oh, they got what they deserved, right? Look at the fucking end result. We erred on the side of caution and we survived. Okay. So all these motherfuckers out there that were so hard on us and so vicious and like die hard into the programming that they would fucking vilify family and friends and attack anyone and everyone. But I can't feel that way. Like I noticed a pattern. The folks who wanted to vote for like Mr. T during 2016 said a little bit. They said their part. They said they were going to do it. They said there was a good likelihood that he was going to become, you know, the head nigger in charge, the commander in chief, and he did, and we knew it. And then 2020 was the same thing around, but it became so vicious and toxic that like just being in the fucking room with any of them was, oh, what a drag. How odious is that? To like turn your back on natural truth and then at the same time like try to vilify and victimize everybody else who is trying to stay the fucking line of the universal order and knows God. You know, it's not that we believe in God or any particular God, it's that we know the rational answer is that there's an intelligent design and that there is a big commander in chief and you need to choose the right one at the human level. And just thought it all went so terribly wrong. Very, very sad. It's bigly sad. It's sad in so many ways. Um, yeah, I don't want to get like too specific and wax like year mentioning the year alone. I think is enough. but I never really did this, to be honest with you. Like what you said here, I have the quote on the screen. I don't know if you can see the screen or not. You might just be participating in the audio, and I'm not going to mention it just for the listeners at home, because I am constantly self-censoring at this point. I've become once bitten, twice shy, and so apprehensive of the horse shit that I feel like you got to dare to know and then be silent. Right? That's the age old incantation: to dare to know and to be silent. Because the great work is, before all things, creation sui generis. You're arriving from the intelligent design sui generis. You know what that means? It's a Latin term that means of itself, self so. You're manifesting into this realm self so. People say, oh, the meat suit, the this, the that, the other thing. It's like, no, this is a sacred vehicle that you've manifested into this realm. A beautiful, wonderful thing. You got a pair of teats, a pair of eyes, and a little erogenous zones and stuff. I mean, why aren't you embracing that your body is the workshop of the subtle origin? It's a direct manifestation and a creation of the God spark through your individualized, unique intelligence. I mean, that's an opportunity for greatness and enjoyment and pleasure. And oh, there is suffering. I know, woe is me, the suffering. I haven't had my diaper changed in 3 hours. You know, I shit all over myself an hour ago, and nobody's changed my diaper. My rattle is out of reach. My fucking pacifier is choking me. I'm deep throating the thing. You know, don't be a baby. Yeah, join the adult world. The adults in the room should take reign. But we don't. We let the kids enjoy themselves. We let them have freedom of thought and expression. And now all of those things are being taken from us because lesser men are in charge. Yeah, that's right. Hold it all in until it explodes off the top of your fucking head. Right. Yeah. Interesting things, Mary. Like, I saw the assassination 3 times. I've talked about it on my channel, and this was prior to 2016. I saw the specific details about the assassination attempts. Some other preacher guy came out and he had a video where he talked about it, and he saw the bullet whizzing by the ear and stuff like that. But no, I gave a full rundown. I have it documented in my journal. Every time I had a dream about Trump, I've had about 6 dreams about Trump where they're not dreams. Just when I'm sleeping, my spirit has been among him and his while he's awake in the waking world. And I've done things on a magical level to intervene. Yeah. Good fun stuff. It's on my channel, unless they've deleted it. I supposedly have 1,400 videos. I should have around 1,700 right now. And I looked through all of my videos last night, and I could only find about 800 on my channel. So there's about 600 that are just no longer available anymore. So quite a bit of my material here on YouTube, but it doesn't matter because anything that was of a spiritual nature has been documented, pen on paper, in ink, and in multiple locations. I always write and think about these paranormal spiritual phenomena, and I like to keep very detailed journals and notes. Like, I always calculate the sun and the moon and its zodiacal alignment, the time of day and its influence, and then just give a detailed analysis of what I brought back from dreamland or what I experienced as paranormal phenomena in the waking world. And so, yeah, telling you the spiritual story about my dad and my mom, there's so many just connected with the passing of any beloved person in my life. And many of those things were prophetic and even direct necromantic communications with people after they died, where they showed me lost or hidden treasures from their lives that maybe I knew about or was interested in. Did I ever tell you the story about my dad's gold teeth, or my father's wedding ring, or my grandmother had some buried treasure and she let me know about it through dreamland? Right. So I don't know if I've ever told you about those things before or not, but anyway, I've talked about them at length on my channel, at least alluding to them most of the time. A lot of the live drive archives, I would talk about spiritual stories. It's kind of fun to be in transit, like driving the car and then talking about those things. That always seems to really go well. Let's see, I'm Got to catch up with the chat real quick. Miss Mary Moon says, "Hey, so Capricorns, you're more." Yeah, that is Piscean power. That's right. We're the last. It's interesting too. Do you have any Aries in your like immediate children? Because I'm a Pisces and my son's an Aries. And as you guys know, I've only fathered one son and one daughter, which honestly isn't enough. I need more. I need more. I need droves of them running around, but we just don't have the room here. We can't even fucking keep a cat in this apartment. Like we literally live in New York style accommodations that are just as expensive. Okay. Yeah, it's fascinating to think about, but there are so many factors involved. But it was interesting to me that like I'm the tail, and then my son restarts the cycle as being born in Aries directly after Pisces. I thought that was cool, and he's got that. Da Vinci was an Aries as well, right? He's got so much of those characteristics, like the ability to master any any art. And so, I really have to fight hard this semester to make sure that he is able to keep music classes and continue participating in the band. He scored higher than anyone in his class, but there are so many schools up for those positions. Like he actually got an additional 10-point bump in his SATs for the Chinese equivalent SATs because of his music finals. So yeah, that I don't ever want him to lose that because I did it, but I didn't do well in music, and I kind of dropped out in high school. Like I played the flute, and then I learned a little bit of the Chinese bamboo flute, and a little guitar. But I didn't like religiously practice music my whole life. I think it's such a valuable thing. So definitely, guys, if you're out there in Happy Land and you are raising children, even if they're as late as high school, encourage your kid to look into some musical instrument that they might enjoy. Because what a valuable thing, a valuable way to develop creativity. Yeah, he's fought against it pretty hard though, like because he did so much training over the last 10 years that he was like, it becomes tiresome, like I was talking about a moment ago, not opportunity cost, but the law of diminishing returns. The more you do something, the less valuable it really is. But that's the opposite of the idea of kung fu when it comes to developing a skill like art, guitar, cooking, gardening, whatever it is. We think that according to ancient Tao, we believe that's the purpose of life. Whatever you're good at, do more of that because that's your virtue. Like the ginseng plant is good at warming and stimulating the blood and the mind. So that's what a virtue is, right? People think that, if you have a certain, that you should abide by virtue. It's not something arbitrary. It's what virtue means, whatever is completely intrinsic in your nature, your forte, your aptitude, the qualities and characteristics that you epitomize. You are the pièce de résistance of any given set of virtues, and human beings have so many. Like we're not just like tigers. Our hunting isn't our only virtue. Hunting and survival of the lone tiger. Each species, each animal, each manifestation has its own set of virtues. Like the story of the Arab with the two falcons. A young prince, a young Arabian prince, is giving two falcons on his 21st birthday of becoming a man or whatever, and they're meant to be hunting falcons, and one naturally hunts and the other one doesn't hunt. And so he asks his father, he says, how can I teach the other one to hunt better? He says, you can't. That's their nature, right? Their virtue. A non-hunting falcon cannot be taught to hunt, and a hunting falcon can only become better. So you figure out what the virtue of that other falcon is, and its virtue, and I guess in this situation, is accompanying the falconer. He's always got one chilling with him. Probably, I would imagine it's the woman waiting for the the active principle, the masculine, the male, the dad, to bring back some energy for her. But I don't know how falcons work exactly. It's just it's a koan, a proverb, a saying. Yeah, that's good. That's very nice. Homeschooling is the best thing for kids. I would say up until like 10 or 11, 12, something like that. Kids should just stay at home with, interaction with family. And we should have extended families. We should have homesteads and have the grandparents over, the aunts and uncles over. It should all be family based. If Taoism, like Chinese Oriental Taoism, means anything, it means just that the foundation of the entire cosmos is built upon strong families. And they believed that the only way to achieve a strong family was to become a strong individual. I came from a good, strong, big family, and I joined into another big, strong, good family. And I think that that's a valuable thing, that the family unit, the extended family unit, is the way to create better lives and a better cosmos and mutual support. And that's what should be encouraged, not this fucking off the hook rainbow LGBTQ plus a bunch of asshole shit. It just doesn't work. What a good person came forward recently and said, "I'm just LGB." Is that how it goes? LGB was the original expression. She said, "I'm just LGB. I'm not that other thing." And I thought, yeah, that makes sense, because there are people like a woman who needs a woman or a man who needs a man, and that's perfectly acceptable. But like to go into fucking crazy time, bananas. What am I taking, crazy pills, and just try to distort everything? That's not good. Honestly, I'd say that's the eighth sphere. That's the Ahrimanic principle, to go beyond the natural order. Dark journalist always thinks he's got such a handle on it all, and him with his high priestess Gigi. Did you ever watch any Dark Journalists? I think so. Dark Journal. I don't mind giving him a shout out though. Like, I actually paid for a couple of years of his website, like behind the scenes stuff, but there wasn't anything there, and so I stopped paying it. Like, I cut it off immediately upon realizing that there was no level of user interaction. The only way a platform can be profitable in today's high-paced communication environment is if users can contribute to it in big time. Like, they can make comments, they can have a profile, they can call in, they can interact with the speaker, the content creators, and only when the content creators can have personal interactions with people is it valuable to humanity. When it becomes corporate systems of monetization and they're just exclusively looking for that and trying to maintain a very polished presentation and presence, then it's not really meant for the people. It's meant as a product that most people probably aren't interested in anymore. So many intelligent, wonderful people these days that they know what they're looking for. They're looking for real human beings interacting and communicating with each other, exploring ideas, doing experimentation, collaborating. That's the way of the future. LGB, that's right. Lesbian, gay, and bisexual, right? Nice that the women are up front with the L, right? And then the gays and the bisexuals. Yeah. Once I don't have anything against trannies. Like, if that's a serious passion of yours, all the support to you in the world. But you should be an adult. And maybe if, like, you're teens, you start to take hormone blockers to an extent, but you should not be allowed to physically transition, and at least until you're 25. I think you should be fucking engendered and instilled with what you get from nature, and then you should maintain and support that until you're at, because guys, honestly, your consciousness doesn't fully blossom until 25 to 27. 25 typically with women, even a little younger for women, really. But for men, it's about 27 years old when your consciousness has a really substantial, objective, reasonable, logical, functional level to where you can make a decision like that. In ancient Taoist culture, they didn't even let young folks drink until they hit at least 25, especially for young men. Girls could drink a little younger, girls have a lot more spiritual energy than men. In fact, they give birth to this universe, and they do have greater power than us in many ways. But the masculine function is far different, far inferior. Never lives as long, really, and has to be controlled and taught and disciplined. That's like when it comes to warfare, that's the only reason men should really go to war. And it should always be optional. And it should always be optional among all the folks involved. And because they like to do that, that's a part of the masculine force, the Mars force, where they go out and wage war with each other and kill each other. And some dudes like to participate in that. And I think, there are places where they can get that done. But most of us do not. We want to participate in society. And I think the negative competitive aspect of society should just be entirely eliminated. Jack Talcott's big message, if you guys have tuned in when I've participated in Jack Talcott's channel, he's maybe a Jesuit. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what he's up to. But he's a fun dude, very loving, very forthright, interested in progressive change. And his style of religious inquiry is better than most, honestly. Yes, I fully support this idea here. And even like partaking of the mystical herbs is typically thought to be better to wait, because otherwise it could infect chemical balance of young people. And so early to mid 20s is the best time to let kids flower. And again, like Rudolf Steiner brought forward a pretty clear academic model for young people and families and stuff. I think it's a little obtuse and it's kind of hard to study, but I think in general, you could, like, your whole homestead, your family is based on that model, right? Having gardens, doing things outdoors. Kids should be in that kind of environment with their mom and dad. If the dad has to do something else for labor in order to provide monetary support for the family, obviously he's just going to see the dad in the evenings and on the weekends, which is okay too, I think. And you're not going to have as much energy to participate in too many activities. But I pulled it all in. I used my magical will, my wizard's will, my magical intent to allow me to participate in my kids' lives through the school, because my mom did that. Like when we hit, I think 9, 10, 11, 12, my mom like volunteered or got a secretarial job at both our primary school and our junior high, and not high school. At high school, she started working in, I think, finance or banking, something like that. And then when we relocated, she did another skill set. Yeah, financial movement. That was it. And she acquired a lot of silver. Like a lot of those silver, Mercury head dimes came from her, but a big portion of them were my father's too, like prior to World War II. During World War II, they took all the gold and silver out of circulation. That's what that whole operation was really about, I think. And huge psyops and smoke screens of deception to beguile the world into a fantasy. Okay, good. Fantasy, sci-fi fantasy that just makes absolutely no sense. Yeah, they call it that, but it's just debt currency, really. Like governments have endless power to pool as much debt currency against their populations as they want. So basically, the collateral at this point is the human being on the human farm, right? They are levied against all of the debt currency created by governments. Your human enslavement is what powers the system. Just dropping brass tacks, right? That seems to be the way things are. And I don't think that anybody could dispute those facts, right? In that single, succinct, I think it was 2-3 sentences right there. I finished the nature of the thing. And that was at the second hour, guys. So I'd like to remind you at this point that you are listening to FM radio, the Frank Monday live transmission podcast style. Good to see all of you. Miss Mary Moon, I hope you are well. The time is now to check me out on www I'm not a criminal.com/Frank Monday. Put a little something, something in the tip jar. That puts the lead in my pencil, the pep in my step, the zest in my zeitgeist. Join up on the 100-day challenge, Pathways of the Magi. Miss Mary Moon, if you would participate in the 100-day challenge, that would be super awesome. Like, I just want to specifically try to pull in some folks to do Pathways of the Magi, and we'll need some astrological advice and assistant if we get new people in the Discord. So definitely check me out on the Lunar Light Entertainment Discord. That's where you can get the support you need for the 100-day challenge if you are inclined to do so. And it's funny too, Mary. I don't know if I ever told you this or not. I don't know if you're still there or not, but when I started my very first 100-day challenge, I thought about I needed a high priestess, and then I did that coast to coast after party live stream with that intention, and that's where I met you. And I thought you would make the absolute best high priestess to the esoteric order of Dagon. And I think we kind of merged that energy a little bit. But yeah, you're in the same type of situation as me. You're a married gal with lots of chillins, cruising around, and good fun. But it was so nice. Like, that was a synchronistic thing. So yeah, magic works, guys. That's all I've got to say about it. And in Pathways of the Magi, you will learn how to perform the highest levels of magic. A little premiere on one of the texts that is a part of the bibliography of that series of lessons is It Works by RHJ. The title is there on the screen if you're tuning in to see it. And with that, guys, I'm going to run it down here and finish with an invocation of total integration. Heaven and earth are the spontaneous manifestations of the subtle, wondrous universal law. As the original oneness expresses itself, gross and subtle energies become distinctly divided. Our bodily caves are brightly illuminated by the mysterious light from the three sources, our three Dantian bridge points leading to immortality. The powerful spirits of the eight direction conjoin thine meaning with the true origin of life. By the absolute order of the divine Ling Pao in the highest to ninth heaven, send the positive energies of Qianluo, Dana, Dunkan, and Taishun to destroy our spiritual obstacles and debilitate any evil influences. The evil demon king Mo Hong is chained to stand as our guard and servant. The powerful atmosphere has been generated, dispersing all negativity. The chi of Tao is everlasting. So it is commanded and confirmed. So mote it be. Amen. By the grace of the only begotten Son, Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, I wish all of you well in your wanderings and meanderings in Happy Land. Until next time, dear aspirant, ad astra per aspera, and keep doing good magic. Until next time, bye for now.